I can't believe what's happening at Hollis Hall right now. Ben Johnson has barely been the head coach for weeks, and he's already shaking up the locker room. Two-star veterans are feeling the heat. Our defense has $1 million hole that could blow up, and a rookie is ready to change the entire offense. Chicago, this isn't what we expected, but it's exactly what we needed. Stay tuned because these 3 stories are going to define our 2025 season. Chicago is experiencing a quiet revolution under Ben Johnson, and I'm going to tell you exactly what's happening on the South Side. Let's start with the bombshell we least expected. You know what's driving me completely crazy and keeping me up at night: Tremaine Edmunds. I think Ryan Poles is looking at the numbers and wondering what in the world he did with $72 million. So I ask you, how is it possible that a linebacker who barely scored 59.2 in defensive ratings is still our starter when Aaron Rodgers is still in our division? Look, I studied every play of Edmunds last season, and what I saw broke my heart. In coverage against tight ends, he looked like he was running in sand. The Packers systematically attacked him with Christian Watson on crossing routes, and Edmunds never knew where he was standing. T.J. Edwards allowed more coverage yards than any other linebacker in the league. Do you think that's acceptable when you face Jordan Love twice a year? But here's what really worries me. Dennis Allen arrived with a specific defensive plan that worked in New Orleans with Demario Davis and Pete Werner. I think Edmunds doesn't fit in that system because Allen needs linebackers who can drop back in deep coverage, and Edmunds has shown he can't do that consistently. The math is brutal and simple. His cut penalty dropped from $13 million this year to just $2.4 million in 2026. Do you know what that means? That Poles basically has a free exit if Edmunds doesn't improve. I ask you, what do you think Poles will do if Edmunds has another mediocre season when he can use those $13 million to sign 2 elite defensive backs? And here's what worries me more. Do you remember Lance Briggs and Brian Urlacher? Those men turned every third down into a nightmare for opposing quarterbacks. Since they retired, Chicago hasn't had that intimidating presence in the middle of the field. Danny Trevathan had moments, Roquan Smith too, but they never had that dominant consistency that made teams change their entire game plan just out of respect for our linebackers. I believe if Edmunds doesn't wake up this year, Dennis Allen will ask Poles to look for his replacement in the 2026 draft. And you know what? The 2026 draft is going to be loaded with linebacker talent. Alabama has 2 prospects that could be first-rounders. Georgia has 1 projected top 10. Allen won't wait another year with a linebacker who can't execute his system. But here's the part that gives me hope. Allen is known for maximizing defensive talent. If there's something to rescue in Edmunds, Allen will find it. The problem is that $72 million, something to rescue, is not enough. We need dominance. We need teams to change their routes just because Edmunds is on the field. Now let's talk about something that has me so excited I can't stop watching film. Coleman Lovelin is being compared to Brock Bowers, and I'm telling you that comparison is not only no accident, it's an understatement for what this young man can do in Ben Johnson's system. Did you see what Johnson did with Sam Laporta in Detroit? 86 receptions, 889 yards, and 10 touchdowns in his rookie year. Rookie! And Laporta didn't have half the athletic talent Lovelin has. I studied each of Laporta's routes, and what I saw was a tight end used as a slot receiver, as a red zone target, as a safety valve, as a decoy in play action. Johnson turned Laporta into a problem defenses didn't know how to solve. Now, imagine that but with an athlete 6 feet 6 inches tall, 241 pounds, running a 4.6 in the 40. Do you realize what that means tactically? No linebacker in the NFC North can cover him in open space. No defensive back can physically dominate him in the red zone. But here's what really drives my expectations. Johnson no longer has to worry about traditional blocking because Kmet can handle that responsibility. That means Lovelin can be used purely as an offensive weapon from day one. 12 personnel with Kmet blocking and Lovelin running scenes. 11 personnel with Lovelin in the slot, creating mismatches. The possibilities are endless. I believe patience will be key here, but not the patience some of you are thinking. Look at what happened with Trey McBride in Arizona. 29 receptions in his rookie year, then 81 in his second year, and now he's considered one of the best tight ends in the league. Tight ends traditionally need time to develop, but Lovelin has something special most don't. Natural instincts for finding soft spots in zone coverage. And you know what I love more? The Michigan connection between Lovelin and our offensive coordinator. He knows every strength, every weakness, every tendency of this young man. There won't be a learning curve in terms of trust and communication. When Caleb Williams needs a reliable target on third down, Lovelin will already know exactly where to position himself. But here's the part that will separate Lovelin from other rookie tight ends. His blocking ability isn't just decent, it's genuinely good. At Michigan, he was blocking Big Ten defensive ends who are now on NFL rosters. That means Johnson can leave him on the field in any down and distance without telegraphing whether it will be a pass or run play. I'm telling you this, if you think DJ Moore and Rome Oduns are going to be our only weapons in the passing game, you're very wrong. Lovelin is going to be the mismatched defenses won't be able to solve, especially in the red zone where his height and hands will be impossible to defend. And here comes the bomb we were all expecting, but nobody wanted to admit we needed. DJ Moore and Cole Kmet have already felt the medicine of Ben Johnson. And I'm telling you, this is not only exactly what this team needed, it's the clearest sign that we finally have a real coach in Chicago. Did Johnson scold Moore for his body language after plays that didn't go his way? Perfect. Did he yell at Kmet for lining up incorrectly during team period? Excellent. And I'm going to explain exactly why this is so important for the future of our Bears. First, let's talk about DJ Moore. I love DJ Moore as a player. But let's be honest, there were too many moments last season where his frustration was visible when things didn't go perfectly. Do you remember the game against Green Bay where he was clearly frustrated with Caleb Williams' decisions? His body language was screaming negativity, and that's contagious in a young locker room. Johnson comes from Detroit, where he worked with receivers like Amon-Ra St. Brown, who never shows frustration publicly, no matter how many times the ball doesn't come his way. That team-first mentality is what separated the Lions from teams like us that had more individual talent but less team chemistry. But here's what really excites me. Johnson is not only correcting attitudes, he's sending a message to the entire roster. When you scold your number one receiver for body language, you're telling every player on that field that no matter your salary, no matter your status, we're going to do things the right way here, Dot. And do you know what else tells me that Johnson scolded Moore from day one? That he sees Moore's full potential and won't allow bad habits to limit him. Moore has the skills to be a top 5 receiver in this league, but he needs the mentality to accompany that talent. Now, let's talk about Cole Kmet. And here's where things get really interesting. Johnson yelling at him for lining up incorrectly is no accident. In Johnson's system, every formation has multiple options, and if the tight end isn't in the exact position, the whole play breaks down. But here comes the part some of you don't want to hear. Johnson drafted Luther Burden in the second round and Lovelin in the first. Do you really think it was a coincidence to draft potential replacements in the positions where you just scolded your veterans? I'm telling you this, when a new coach arrives and uses his first 2 picks on positions where you already have stars, he's sending a message clearer than water. Moore has a contract that makes him difficult to cut, but his attitude will determine how many targets he gets. Kmet can be cut with relatively little financial pain if Lovelin shows he can do everything Kmet does and more. Dot. Do you know what I love most about all this? We finally have a coach who won't accept the business as usual that kept us in mediocrity for years. Matt Eberflus was too soft, too diplomatic, When your star players make mental mistakes or show bad attitudes, you need a coach who confronts them immediately. Johnson comes from Detroit, where he tolerated no mediocre attitudes from anyone. Remember how the Lions transformed from a laughingstock to contenders? It wasn't just because of talent, it was because of culture. Every player knew they had to give their maximum effort every snap or they'd be replaced. And here's the part that makes me most optimistic. These reprimands happen during OTAs, not during the regular season. That means Johnson is setting expectations and standards from day one. Moore and Kmet now know exactly what to expect and what's expected of them. But let's be realistic about the future implications. If Moore doesn't change his body language and attitude, Luther Burden is going to get more snaps than Moore expects. If Kmet doesn't improve his accuracy in formations, Lovelin will become the #1 tight end faster than Kmet can imagine. And do you know what's most beautiful about all this? Johnson is creating true competition in positions where we had accepted mediocrity. While the Packers continue to rely on their veterans without questioning them, we have a coach who will demand excellence from day one, and that's exactly how dynasties are built in this league. Listen to me, Bears Nation. These 3 stories are no accident. They're the reflection of an organization that finally decided to do things right. Do you think Johnson is right to pressure Moore and Kmet from day one? Do you think Edmonds will respond to the pressure, or will he be another $1 million bust? Are you ready to see Lovelin revolutionize our offense alongside Caleb Williams? I need you to tell me in the comments which of these 3 situations worries you the most, and which excites you the most. This community is a family that lives and breathes navy blue and orange, and I want to hear each of your opinions because you are what makes this channel special. If this analysis made you think differently about the direction of our Bears, give this video a like right now. And if you're not subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe button because every day we'll be here analyzing every move, every decision, every play that brings us closer or further from being the Chicago Bears this city deserves. Bear down, family. See you in the next video.